Multi-calendar booking for voice agents has massive potential for businesses, but it's also where most people get stuck. How exactly does it work? Because very quickly, multi-calendar booking becomes multi-calendar chaos. You try checking availability in each calendar one by one, and suddenly the user is there waiting for 7, 8, 9 seconds. And it creates a terrible user experience. Most calendar interfaces do not have this by default, so there's usually not a straightforward answer. And then once you've set it all up, the agent says, yeah, I can book you at 11, and it says you're booked, but then it actually failed, and the list goes on. But by the end of this video, my promise to you is that you will have clarity on all the pitfalls and the best design to really make this work for most use cases. And why I'm talking about this is because we've actually built this for clients, most recently for a family law firm with 5 different lawyers. I will show you what that implementation looked like and help you avoid the pitfalls that we faced. Plus, I'll show you how to structure the system so adding new calendars doesn't break everything. And although you will get access to the complete implementation with the agents and workflows that we built for this client, my goal is that you get skills. I want to show you the shortest path to your goal and give you the skills to navigate your way there. I'm Alejo from I'm Alejo Voice. I've been a data scientist and AI engineer since 2018, and I'm excited to share my knowledge with you. And before we dive in, I just want to say that the Figma, the choice of topic, all the work that we put into these videos is because we truly care about giving you the best experience and show you how much we appreciate your time. Now let's dive into it. Multi-calendar booking isn't just check more than one calendar, and it very much varies from use case to use case. The solution I'm going to show you applies for any type of use case, and it's in my opinion the most practical solution. And this is what use cases can look like for different clients. Let's start with a simple one. The law office with 2 or more lawyers, but there's no distinction on who gets the lead. It's whoever's available at that time that the user requested. But then you can insert a nuance. Well, what if in that law office, the 2 lawyers have different specializations? So some lawyers can take some meetings and other lawyers can take other meetings, but they can't take the same meetings. We're gonna go over that nuance too. Then for a different industry, let's say this is a plumbing company with 2 or more plumbers, and then the decision making is whoever's physically closer. Okay, so there's another wrinkle. We need to check who is closest first and then book into a calendar. Next is a medical office with 5 doctors, where the user can choose either a time or a doctor that they want. With the system that I'm going to show you, it doesn't solve all of these by default because each client is different. You're going to have a use case that it's not listed here, a nuance that is not listed here. Put it in the comments. I am happy to help you make sure you have the right design for your agent. So before we dive into the building, I want to show you what these different systems can look like. A complex system that is very laggy and has the users waiting for the answer, or a system that works seamlessly by default. And then I'll reveal what the difference between these systems are. And I'll give you one little spoiler. Both of these systems can work in cal.com. If you haven't heard of cal.com, it's a booking software that makes it really easy to integrate new calendars and different people into one type of event. Now let me walk you through these 2 designs. Design number 1 is we have 3 different people with 3 different calendars. In cal.com or in any other booking software, each person would create 1 different calendar, and then you would have 3 event types. So a voice agent would have to check each of those 3 calendars, 3 event types, and then combine their availability. Is there anybody who's available at 11 a.m. tomorrow? Yes. Okay, who? Well, you need to kind of build that logic. I recommend building it in 8N, and I'm going to show you also how to do that. But then we also need to track the calendar ID to finish the booking. It's not only who's available, it's, okay, which one do we book into? There's a lot of micro decisions that make the implementation very complex. This can look really simple on paper, but having these 3 event types makes the agent having to have 3 functions for checking availability, and then 3 functions for booking the appointment. The other way to do it, and the way that I recommend, is having the 3 people set up 1 calendar each. But you'll see that these calendars are next to each other. What can actually happen is we create one event type that combines all 3 calendars. The availability from each of these people is already merged into one set of slots. So we can just communicate that to the user chooses, and the handling of the booking happens in the backend. And this is not the final design, but the insight is that we can have 3 separate calendars that we try to book into, or 3 combined calendars. Yes, each of these calendars is owned by a different person, but if we combine them, then we have less headaches. Now, why wouldn't we just always do this? Well, there's one difference between these 2 systems, and is that one is free and one is paid. It is a reason why people end up going for the more complicated system with more headaches. But this shouldn't be the builder paying for this. You shouldn't be paying for this. Your client should be paying for this. So bake it into your pricing. You can figure it out. I have videos on how to price your voice agents. The whole point here is that the simplification allows for more flexibility. And trust me, I've done it both ways. Doing it this way saves you so much time. So first, we're going to connect the calendars. Second, we're going to plug those calendars into the voice agent. And then number 3, we're going to create some logic in N8N that can handle several of the nuances that we have in these use cases. But the best design is actually neither of these. The best design, in my opinion, includes another component, which is plugging availability into the prompt before the call starts. Many people are not aware that you can do this, but why have to do 2 functions? Checking and then booking, when you can do it before the call starts. And I'm going to show you how to do that in this video as well. So let's start with number 1, creating the cal.com accounts, connecting the calendars, and then plugging them in together into one event type. Okay, so let's go to cal.com. I have it open in incognito so I can create a new account. And by the way I'm going to show you is the best, easiest way to do this with clients. Because at the end of the day, they have to connect their Google account or calendar. We're going to go with a simple Alejo1. Then we write our email. Okay, privacy policy, and get started. Great, we created the account. Now have your client verify their email. This would be obviously in your client's email. And all you have to do, ideally you do this live on a call together, but you can also just ask them for this link. I'm going to open this up in an incognito window. And once you have that link, you go straight into onboarding. Just have them choose for personal use, the free one, put their name, next, and then finally connect their calendar, whatever they need to connect. In this case, I already connected mine. So you would click connect and they can just log in through Google, or if it's their computer, then they would already be logged in, and click continue. So now that they set that up, I can go in with the email and password that, I chose that you can share with them. Now I can go in and follow the rest of the steps. Upgrade the account, create a team. So let's go to teams, create a team, and it's going to tell me, okay, what's the name of the team? What should be the URL? I'm just going to blast through this. Great, so that's done. I started the trial, and now that I upgraded one account, I can add other team members. So I created the other 2 accounts for my other users. I will invite as admin, send invite. And once they accept the invites, they will have you will have the team ready to go. This is why I recommend doing it live on a call, because then you can kind of follow the steps synchronously as opposed to emails back and forth. And that's how simple it is. No super complicated logic. It's just create accounts, bring them together into a team, and now we can have different events. I want to name this one whoever's free. Is going to be a round robin. It simply means who is available. Whoever is available, then do that time, do that person. The collective is when all team members are available. Depending on your use case, you want to choose one or the other. And then managed event, it's a little bit more complex, not something for today. We're going to go with a round robin. And now we have in the settings access to some other things. My teams, the different members of that team, the team settings, but you still have each individual account. And now you'll see in event types, you'll have your own event types that you can create. And then you will also have the team events. In this case, if I click into this event, I'll be able to modify everything about this event, just like a normal event. The only difference is that you'll have an assignment tab where you can choose how to divide the new events that are coming in. I can add all team members, and I can also decide who gets more bookings. This works on percentages. You can have one of the team members take 60% of the bookings, while the other ones take 20% each. Again, depends on your use case. You can also not mess with weights and do load balancing. That Cal.com will aim to give everybody mostly the same amount of events. And then for collective, same thing, add all team members. So all of the team members have to be available for that availability to be shown to the user. All of the other details for the event are pretty much the same. And if you're not sure where to click, you can go check out my calendar appointment setting tutorial that I did with Retail and Cal.com, so you can get more details there. Now let's jump into the good part, which is giving the agent the ability to book appointments. Okay, so now we're done with this part. We created the 3 calendars. We created an event type that merges all those calendars availabilities automatically. And now we're going to build the agent. This prompt was inspired by a previous prompt that I actually built during a video, my prompting masterclass that you can go check out and we'll leave linked. I used that exact same master prompt to create this agent that can actually book appointments. The previous agent could not book appointments. So we are introducing some new nuances. Role and objective, personality, they stay pretty much the same. Context, there are 3 available lawyers. Same as we had in a previous use case, you're not missing anything. The difference is that these 3 lawyers actually do have areas of specialization. So here are the different layers of the complexity that you can introduce. We'll start with the most straightforward use case, which is an initial consultation can be booked into any of their calendars. And here you might see a hint around the availability. Inserting the availability before the call starts, so the agent knows exactly when the lawyers are available and doesn't have to do that awkward back and forth of checking availability over and over again. So we'll actually only have one function in here, which is the book appointment, book on the calendar. We'll get there. I'm just going to walk you through the rest of the prompt. Communication style and technical precision are normal instructions for spelling, etc. Information tracking, that's the normal. Again, also standard and call management. Then under instructions, we have a communication style, technical precision. These are all standard across our agents. Information tracking and call management, legal advice boundaries. And then the warm transfer protocol. I lied. There are more than one functions. It's just the booking appointment. That's a single function versus multiple functions. The transfer to lawyer is part of this use case, in which if we already know the person, and we can check if we know them before the call starts, we're actually going to do a warm transfer to their assigned lawyer, as opposed to kind of take them through the normal flow. That's not what we're focusing on today. This is what we're focusing on today. For appointment booking, when ready to book, we need to collect this information and then present 2 or 3 specific time slots. Don't overwhelm the user. And then what to do if none of the times work for the next 2 weeks. Okay, then we have the different stages of the conversation. Again, you can pause and read further if you're interested. I wanna go towards what matters to you, which is multi-calendar booking. That's gonna be stage 4. And the last thing I wanna show you about this prompt is these example interactions. For example, there's a new client and they're obviously qualified for family law, so they are booked. And what that booking looks like is getting their name, their last name, and then this little trick that I want to teach you for prompting, which is when showing these example interactions to your voice agent, you want to emulate how LLMs actually process this information and this output. So the LLM says this, sounds good, let me book that for you now. And then we have a new line that says book appointment or trigger book appointment function, anything along those lines. In fact, I'm gonna modify a trigger book appointment function and then agent again. So the LLM speaks, the LLM triggers a function, and then the LLM confirms. Those are all things that happen in sequence. So you want to show in the prompt those three things happening in sequence, as opposed to all in one line. We have seen that it is much more effective when they're in separate lines versus the same line. So you'll prevent hallucinations. It works generally better. Okay, with that mini prompting lesson, let's move on. Meaning, let's actually plug in this book appointment function. So book on the calendar. When users ask to book an appointment, book it on the calendar, we're actually gonna modify that. This is probably the most important part of making these functions work reliably, and you're gonna see why in a second. Then we're gonna get the API key from cal.com, and then the event type ID from cal.com as well, and then the time zone. The time zone is actually going to be New York. Okay, now let's go one by one. First, the description. And this is what that description looks like. This function by itself with a normal description is not that effective. This is what makes this function reliable. So let me walk you through it. And if you have any questions, you can put it in the comments. But I have gone through this in several videos. When users ask or agree to book an appointment, book it on the calendar. The time parameter should be a full absolute date, always formatted as day of the week, year, month. And then this is the format that cal.com essentially expects. And this, for example, great. The time should always be in the future. I know it sounds obvious. The time right now is this. So we're integrating a dynamic variable here. And I'm saying this is Eastern time because in our use case, the time zone is locked. The time zone parameter should always be America, New York, just like here. And the notes parameter should have a one-sentence summary of the conversation. Guests parameter. And I know, there's so many things that don't make sense, but this is the game we're playing. So the technology is not perfect. We make the technology work. The guest parameter should be monitoring at amplifyvoice.ai. You can put your own email in there for monitoring. Then the name parameter should be the user's first and last name. And the email should be the user's email, which they spelled during this conversation. And I will show you an example of that happening. Then reschedule reason should be first time booking. Why are there so many weird fields that we need to fill out? Well, that's the nuances of the cal.com API. Not perfect, but we can make it work, and we have made it work. Now you have the secret. Now let's go get the API key from cal.com and the event type ID. The easiest one to get first is the event type ID. It's gonna be, if you go to your event, okay, the only one, look at this URL. It's gonna change. There's actually gonna be a new number that shows up. That middle number, that is your event type ID. Damn. It changes from event to event. And then for API key, I'm gonna go to profile. I'm gonna go to settings, API keys, add, retail. Okay. We're gonna go expires, bam, and copy. I'm gonna paste it there. And now we're gonna save. I need to make sure that anywhere in my prompt that I have book appointment, the name of the function is well said. For example, here, that's not the same name that I have here. So I need to check across my prompt. Great, book appointment. Lovely, we can move on now. And now we are ready to run our first test. What is going to happen during this test is I'm just going to test this function. No, we do not have full availability yet. We're gonna implement that. No, the agent can't book into different calendars based on different conditions. Not yet. What I'm testing right now is that this function actually is working and that the cal.com is well set up. This is something I heavily recommend, iterative testing one thing at a time. So let's test this function. Hello, how's it going?
Hi there, thank you for calling Amplify Family Law. This call is being recorded. How can I help you today?
Yeah, I'm having trouble with my wife, and I'm looking for a divorce. Just kidding.
You got me there. Just so you know, I'm an AI assistant for Amplified Family Law.
No, I do actually need a divorce, so I need some help.
Got it. Thanks for letting me know. We're sorry you're going through this. Just so you know, I'm an AI assistant for Amplify Family Law, and I'll help get you connected with the right attorney. First, are you a current client with us? Or is this your first time reaching out?
First time.
Perfect. Thanks for sharing that.
So you mentioned this is about a divorce. Just to make sure, is this related to any injury, car accident, or personal injury claim? Or is it strictly a family?
Fortunately, no. No, it's family law.
Thank you for clarifying. It's strictly a family law matter. How urgent is your situation? Do you need to get started right away, or is this more of an initial inquiry?
Initial inquiry. I'm weighing my options.
I understand. Thanks for letting me know. And what state or county is this matter in?
In Brooklyn.
Thanks, Brooklyn. Got it. Are there any children involved in your situation?
No.
Perfect. Thank you. So let's get you scheduled for a consultation to talk through your options. Can you please spell your first name for me?
Yeah, it's Alejo.
Thank you. So first name is Alejo, spelled Alejo.
Can you please spell your last name for me?
Yeah, Pijuan.
Great. Last name is Pijuan, spelled Pijuan. Thanks for that.
What's the best email address to reach you?
It's,
Spell it out.
yeah, it's my first name and last name, alejopijuan@gmail.com.
Thank you. Just to confirm, is that ALEJOPIJUAN@gmail.com?
Yeah, that's right.
Perfect. Thank you. Now let me check our available consultation times.
I have the following options. Friday, January 16th at 11 a.m., Monday, January 19th at 2 p.m., Wednesday, January 21st at 10 a.m. All times are Eastern.
Let's go for Monday at 2.
You're all set for Monday, January 19th at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. I'll book that for you now. Ooh, it looks like there was a technical issue booking that slot. I apologize for the trouble. I'd have your...
This is great. Okay, great. So the whole conversation was really smooth, and here's a couple lessons that I want to give you. Let's recap what just happened, and then I want to give you a couple lessons from this interaction. If I want to analyze what went wrong in this call I had, well, why didn't this work? It could be a million reasons. I would go to the homepage, call history, and go to the latest call that just happened. And now I get two options. I can click on View in Test Playground, and the same exact agent is gonna pop up with the functions and what happened, what triggered, what went wrong. And this is what it looks like. It's as if you had the conversation through test chat. If you have never seen this before, super powerful feature of retail. And now we can see our functions. I can open up the tool and what was sent. And also I can open up the result. Sometimes these can be very confusing errors. If you're not familiar with this yet, just take your time, try to interpret what's going on. Try looking for words. Error code, message request failed. Those are not words, that's a bunch of code. Can't book this team event because it has no hosts. Please add at least one host. Wonderful. So I am being told what is the issue, and I should be able to go fix it where? Well, in cal.com. So let's go to cal.com. It's saying the event type doesn't have any hosts. I'm not sure. Well, I am, but at this point, you wouldn't be sure where to look. I know to look right here. Go explore these platforms. Get familiar with these platforms. What's on each tab is going to make it that much faster for you to build at scale. So now we need some fixed host, and I'm gonna click on yes and add Alejo. Okay, great. Oh, right, because I turned this off to show you the other function. That's right. So that should work all the same. Yeah. So all team members, and then it's in round robin. So I don't need to go through the same 3 minutes of conversation I just had. I don't need to anymore. Why? Because I can just go to right before the function triggered, go to edit, and then send. And now I can debug my application step by step, error by error, by not having to repeat everything from scratch. Now we'll see if we get an error or if it worked. We're getting one of the hosts either already has booking at this time or is not available. Okay, I don't remember setting up availability here. So let's see. There's two ways to check availability. What's currently in the calendar right now? I can actually just click on the show event, and it'll show me the live availability for Monday. This would be New York time for Monday. I indeed don't have that time available. Why did the agent say it? Well, it hallucinated because I haven't passed on availability yet. So let's just say it is Monday at 11, and then we'll make the other one work at 2 p.m. of course. Let's go for Monday at 11. Great, and I'll send that in again. Okay, and now I get a tool result. Successfully booked an appointment. I know I cheated there. The whole point is not yet perfect booking. It's just making sure that this is working like it's supposed to be. And I actually constrained my availability because I'm in Portugal. So, availability is obviously also something that you need to have your users set up. Availability, the common one is 9 to 5. But you should have them set it up for their times, right? It was in the wrong time zone in my case. And I wish I could tell you that that's the main issue that you're going to face with Cal.com. It is not, but all of the issues are fixable. This description for the book appointment function fixes most of the issues, but you might want to get more sophisticated. You might want to separate bookings based on the type of matter. And that is absolutely possible using N8N. And let me show you how. So we're gonna look at check availability next. First, we wanna do the book appointment logic. Oh, and by the way, you can see the event getting booked here, 4 p.m. Lisbon, 11 a.m. New York. Okay, so let's step into the good stuff, which is multi-calendar booking, but when there are constraints, like each lawyer only works on one type of specialization. Now we need a little bit more work. And there's one way to do it online with Cal.com. It's actually really nice. Something called routing forms. You can say, hey, is this matter related to A, B, or C? And then it directs to the right person's calendar. So you can do it in the UI, by the way. It is a paid feature. And you can also do this through N8N for the voice agent to be able to leverage this multi-calendar. Keep in mind, you can use this with the free account, absolutely. There are some complexities, but for the most part, when you want to add more nuance and obviously complexity, the free account, I think, works just fine in our experience. I want to make this as simple for you as possible, such that the only thing that you need to edit the moment that you download this template and modify it for yourself is this config node. Okay, so you're gonna edit each of these things. So you're just gonna delete this and put your Cal.com API key, remove this, event type ID, etc. Very simple. I guess only thing that's different is the use case, right? That's why I want to teach you skills and not just have you download templates. The link is below, by the way. Because legal matter, that's something that only pertains to this use case. Is it really that useful for you? No. So keep in mind that I want you to spend time going through this so you can understand where the nuances come in. It's the same. Do I really need that or not? Depending on your use case, you might. So that's the first part of the workflow, which is kind of setting it up. And then this checks whether the date that was requested by the LLM is available. And then we assign the lawyer based on whether it's divorce or child custody, etc. We want to assign a different lawyer's calendar. Then based on that information, we're going to assign that specific lawyer's event type ID. And we can book directly into that one person's calendar. This is the thing. You can add infinite levels of complexity. That routing form that I mentioned sure would be useful if it was available for these voice agents, because then you can just integrate it into here and not do so much logic, especially when checking availability. Well, turns out now it is. Last time I checked, this was not available. Now it is. This is not the topic of today. Routing forms is not the topic of today, but the Cloud.com is continuously evolving, and it's really cool to see routing forms finally integrated. That's a different topic though. I really just want to focus on you figuring out how are you going to make your use case work. So I want to show you the agent not working, but before it starts working. I'm going to send some information. I'm going to try to book an appointment. It's going to fail because some of these fields are not filled out. And I'm going to fill them out one by one so you can copy me. The skill part comes in the design of the system, right? How many lawyers do you have? Okay, great. 5. Great. You need 5 different routes in the switch. Then when it comes to date and time, we did a lot of the work of making sure that times are always formatted correctly. You'll see this massive little piece of code. It's all with a purpose and it works swimmingly. Still, if you have issues, put it in the comments. Happy to help you. So we're playing with time zones, making sure that they're appropriate for Cloud.com. The reason we're going to do different event types per lawyer is so we can pass the event type to Cloud.com to finish that booking. So with a specific event type ID, we're going to pass that along. So let's get this working. That's what I care about right now. Get it working. So the first thing we're going to do is grab the webhook. Every function needs to have a webhook. And we care about the production URL. So production URL, click to copy. And then I'm going to go to retail and I'm going to create a new function, a custom function. This is also going to be called book appointment cal. So I'm going to delete that one. Yep. Custom function, book appointment cal. The description is going to be our old description. Maybe I shouldn't have deleted. API endpoint. We're going to have this one. Lovely. Okay, now let's go to description. I did find the function. So same exact description. The other function could communicate directly with Cloud.com. This one is going through N8N, but our description is the exact same. We want the agent to be sending certain pieces of information. And we're gonna grab the piece of information that we need, like the time parameter, right? And put it right here in parameters. It's gonna be a form. It's just neater to do it than the JSON. So we're gonna say time, right? And it already knows what time should be. Time parameter should be a full tugi. For example, the time should always be in the future. The time right now is this. Sorry about the back and forth here. Great. From there to there, the time parameter. So it already has that information. There's not really any issue with making it redundant in this description. It is a string and it is always required. Next, time zone should be this. In this case, it's always the same. So time zone. This is not going to be a description. This is actually going to be a value. So this is actually pretty cool. We can just write that in and it's always going to send that. So that's pretty cool. That's also required. Next parameter that we need, again, it's all in the description, notes. 1 sentence summary of the conversation. And I'm just going to be bringing in each of these one by one. Okay, so now we have all the parameters that need to be sent to our function, and we should be ready to save this. Great. So book appointment cal is now a custom function. let's try triggering this. With the cool part is we can use that old conversation that I showed you, this one, to trigger that function. So let's try it out. So when the function gets triggered, bam. Again, we're not going for the function to work right now. We need to gather information in order to see, I didn't save. In order to see the information that retail is sending us. So, yep, we see the error. That's what we expected. Now, debug in editor is going to bring that information over here. What information? Well, this. Everything that retail just sent us. This is a call from the playground. It's a web call. The transcript. And what we care about is at the bottom, args. That is what we care about. And how we're going to use those is we go to config. And we're going to bring in each of these one by one. So we're going to go to the webhook, go to the bottom, or rather collapse these. Bam. Dynamic variables, transcript, cost, and args. Time zone. Bam. Business name. We actually don't care about this one for this use case. Fallback email. We have the monitoring and amplify voice. We're gonna send to both of those. Okay, great. So let me get the API key, and the event type ID in this case is gonna switch, right? Depending on the lawyer. So we're gonna have, we're gonna get a new API key, and we have our API key. Awesome. Event type ID is gonna change that later. So, and those are the variables that you should go configure as soon as you get this template. Let me just make sure we have no reds. This is empty. This is fine. If we execute, we see it go through. Lovely. Now, for the next one, we need to plug in the right variables, right? So there's something here giving me some issues. The code might look scary, but with time, it'll be normal. If you really get stuck, talk to Claude about it. But what I'm really looking for is just the names of variables and making sure that they're named the right way. And in this case, I had written the wrong name of the parameter. So now it should be good. Time dot. There we go. Lovely. So now we have the right time for the right time zone. Great. Then reschedule reason. We're just gonna drag and drop. So we open up the webhook that the data originated from. We go to args, which is the function, and we can remove that and add reschedule reason here. Same for notes, the name, bam, guests, this one. Then title, we're actually not going to use. I'm gonna remove. Email, we just need to write it out the right way here. It's not JSON. That's why I always recommend using the name of the node, because it can get messy if you don't. And when you see this issue where it's JSON but it's giving you an error, you're not sure what node it comes from, just use the full name and then .item. Let's keep it going so this video doesn't become too long. I'm gonna do that same thing here. Okay, lovely. Let's keep it going, see if there are any other errors here. We have config. Sorry, I used the wrong one, I believe. Again. There we go. And webhook. Okay, and same here. We want the fallback email. Item JSON fallback email. That one should be fine. And then finally, this is the one we need to fix. Oh, that's funny. Because of the spacing of the variables, I was losing my mind there for a second. Great, right email. Awesome. So the fallbacks are in case some of the emails are misspelled or something like that. And then finally, phone number. Phone number we can get from here usually. I'll put it in the template for you. Great. So when I do a real call with an actual phone number, this is going to get populated. For now, it's going to be red. And then legal matter is actually something that we did not set up. So we need to go back to retail, back to the function, You want to edit your functions, you want to add different things. This is how. Go to your function, click on add to add a new field, and the field that we need to add is legal matter. We're going to have a choice. We're going to have a choice in between divorce, child custody, and domestic. We're going to say one of these. Why? Because this is what fits the use case. This is what fits the different lawyers. So when we send that information, cool thing about learning these N8N skills, you can get things done before you need them. Let me show you what I mean. You know how we're getting the guests and these arguments, these args? Well, we can do the exact same thing. We can copy that over to legal matter and just make sure you call that the right variable that you call it in the function. I called it legal matter, one of, okay. So I just gotta make sure that they have the same name. It's gonna give me red now, but it's gonna work next. So let us try it one more time. Let us save this and then try it one more time. Update, and I can just rerun the exact same flow. It's still probably gonna give me an error. The important thing is that it's a different error, that we take steps forward. Okay? In this case, we see a success. We'll see if it was actually successful. Yeah, unlikely. In this case, we tried doing the booking and it sent an error because we actually haven't set any of this up, right? So we need to do that next. So what is different about this run? Mainly, it's that we have a new argument that is being sent. We go to the webhook, body, args, and legal matter, and we can just see it was green. So this is how it's practice and skill. You get better. You can see things happening before they happen, like this number populating after I do an actual phone call. Okay, next thing that we need to fix is, well, let's check the next node over, making sure that this is getting in the right data. There's a little piece of code in the previous node that is gonna put past date if it's a date in the past. So now we need to assign lawyer based on what? Well, based on those categories that we just set up. If legal matter is related to this, then we're gonna have that one lawyer take care of it, okay? Then for the next one, we're gonna have child, custody, okay. Wonderful. We're gonna add a fallback output just in case. We're gonna have an extra output. Okay, so this should go through the first branch because it was divorce. Yes, indeed it does. And what you're gonna do next is for this setup, right, where we want to decide who the right person to book in, then we're gonna find that person's event type ID. We have 3 event types IDs here, but they're for one user. Just make sure they're for different users. So the divorce calendar or divorce person, their calendar ID would go there, their event type ID. Then for lawyer number 2 in a different cal.com account, which is going to go to the next, to the second event type ID, bam. And then for the last one, event type IDs. I hope you see how the complexity of this kind of multiplies the more calendars you go. You might not see it now, you'll see it when we get to checking availability. So now we have these 3 lawyers with different visualizations. What if there's an issue with the booking? Then we can go to the old event type ID, the team event type ID. Just have the user be booked. It's a worse user experience if it's not even booked. I'll leave that branch there for you to work on if that's appropriate for your use case. So now, depending on the lawyer, we should be able to pass the right event type ID. Okay, great. And now we have the convert to UTC that transforms the time that the user requested to the time that that cal.com expects. And there's one more thing that we need to change here, which is some of these variables and where they come from, and obviously the event type ID. This event type ID is going to come from here. Great. What's happening here is we're setting it up in this node, but then it also passes on to the next node. Because I can convert to UTC, I have include other input fields. So it's not passing only this one, it's also passing what I put in. So this is a nice, I don't know, more sophisticated way to do variables, passing variables through n8n. Now I'm just gonna speed this up and plug in the variables. And we can see on the right side if it all looks good. Yes. Yep. Lovely. Okay. So let's see the progress that we've done so far. We might still get an error, and that's fine. But the important part is what error, right? So we got this far without issues, and now we're calling the API. Let's see what the error is. User either already has booking at this time or is not available. Indeed, we did book at that time successfully before, or rather, was not available at this time. We also booked 11 a.m. So let's try 10 a.m. At 10, lovely. Okay. Appointment could not be booked. Let's see what other information we can get. I guess, yeah, we did not. Yeah, we're gonna run that one more time because I did not save the scenario. So let's see what happens then. Okay. Now, success booked. Lovely. For 10 a.m. New York time. And we are good to go. So we just did a multi-calendar booking that based on my inquiry as a user, which was for divorce, and not the other two, I got plugged into the right calendar. And then I'll be able to see in my upcoming bookings that indeed there was one, yeah, this is Lisbon time. I'll translate it for you. 10 a.m., which is the one we just booked, and 11 a.m., that was the one that we had booked before through the team calendar. And that is multi-calendar booking in a nutshell, or in a little bit more than a nutshell. But I promised you something more. What I promised you was plugging in availability so the agent is not hallucinating when the user is available. These weren't available times for me. So let's not have an extra function that the agent has to trigger during the call. Let's do that before the call. And that is the final component of my favorite, I think the best design, the most scalable design with the best user experience. It's multiple calendars. All their availabilities get appended next to each other with one event type for a team calendar booking, or a routing form if you want to get fancy. And finally, plug availability into the prompt before the call starts. So how are we going to do that? And there's three components that we need to take care of in order to do this. Number one, in retail, you can go to phone numbers, and when the user receives a call, you can reroute that call anywhere. I'm gonna make this phone number available, and you'll see in the inbound call agent, you have a checkbox, add an inbound webhook. That means, hey, redirect the call, not directly to an agent, but for example, to n8n. That's component number one. It's the inbound webhook, and it's just like a function webhook. It's just like an end of call webhook. In this case, this is what we're calling it, multi-cow check. We grab the production URL, and that is what we plug into the inbound webhook. So now when calls come into this phone number, retail is first gonna ask n8n, hey, do we know this number, or what do we do with this number? So we're gonna see that in action in just a second. Then you're going to configure your node. In this case, we already plugged in that data, so I'm gonna copy paste it, and you can do the same. I'm gonna copy paste that in, and making sure that the names match. Okay, lovely. So we have, we do not have this, right? We don't have that time zone. But in this case, we don't need time zone, we don't need business name or fallback email because we are just checking availability. So all we need is this. Let's go get our team calendar event type. I go to the team, this one, and the event type up here. Great. So event type ID, we can plug that in there. So component number 2 is actually checking availability in cal.com and asking, hey, what slots do we have available for this event type ID? So event type ID gets plugged in here. Then we have from when until when, and then time zone. Okay, turns out we did need time zone, and we're gonna do America, New York. Lovely. Okay. Next, authorization, where we needed to plug in the Cal API key, and we did. Why is this giving us an error? Well, when you copy paste nodes in N8N, they won't have the same name. If it's a duplicate, it'll have a number at the end. So see, it went from red to gray, which means you haven't run it yet, but yes, this node does exist. And then there are no more reds. So let's try executing this and see if there are any errors in between that we need to fix. In this case, no, it ran just fine and it got all the availabilities. Wonderful. But you know what the issue is? These are too many slots. We don't need all of these. In fact, there's way too much here. Instead, what if we could reinterpret this as natural language? What if we could get just the soonest availability? The soonest availability tomorrow, and then the soonest availability in 2 days. You can also format the full availability such that it's not so overwhelming, but actually nicely written out in natural language. Let me make sure that all these variables are well set up. Yes, lovely. Okay, so it's gonna look nicer to the LLM in the prompt, but this is essentially what we translated all of those weird dates. Friday, January 16th, between 6:15 a.m. and 7:15 a.m. This is how we want the agent to say it. We don't want it to say 6:15. So we give the LLM what we want it to output. Also between 8 a.m. and 8:45 a.m. and also at 10 a.m. at 10:15. So, and then I have very, very sparse availability. So it starts saying them in blocks. Still too much availability. You can change that. You can change how many slots are given per day. Cal.com gives you a lot of flexibility, so use that flexibility. The whole point is that our whole calendar for the next 2 weeks just got translated into natural language in a way that is real, that time is actually available, and number 2, in a way that is friendly to the user. The LLM says it out loud and it sounds nice. Finally, we want to have this respond to webhook. This is really important. We are answering that phone call. This is that first component again, right? So the call came in to this webhook, and then we need to answer. Who is picking up that call? What's that agent ID? So let's go find that agent ID right here and plug it in. I'm gonna do it in a different node. I'm gonna do it in your configuration. Agent ID right here. Awesome. And now I should be able to rerun this, and I'll see in config the agent ID. Lovely. And then this will be plugged into the prompt. This is too much. I think it's too much, actually. I should be able to change how many times are given per day, however you want to do it. But if this text full availability is going to get plugged in right here in that dynamic variable, and that is what pre-call dynamic variables are. I can pass them in, and they will fill in whatever details we have. I can also pass in, hey, Friday 6:15 a.m. and Monday at 10:30 a.m. when works for you. So we can also give the user a hint, just give them two options and simplify the user experience. With voice agents, a simpler user experience is usually a better user experience. Now we have the agent ID and the dynamic variables, and we'll be able to answer the call. So let me save this and make a call to this voice agent. Okay. Hey, what's going on with that? Okay, well, I promised I would show you the raw and real, and here it is. This function was taking too long, right? This sequence was taking too long. And the culprit is this format full availability. This hasn't been an issue for us in the past. I guess there's too much that the LLM is processing. And I do like GPT 4.1 doing this. Even though I guess in this case it's taking too long. Because of the accuracy. We can't really mess up these time slots. So what are we gonna do? I'm gonna show you that little technique that I mentioned, I alluded to, which is limiting how many options we're getting. So time slot intervals, that's the first one. Normally, you'll see like 6, 6:15, 6:30, because the event is 15 minutes and the time slot intervals are using the event length. In this case, let's do at the top of the hour, every hour. That's when we can have consultations. Let's see, limit. You can also try only showing the first slot of each day is available. And you can also limit how far in the future this event can be booked. For now, we're just gonna go with the time slot strategy. Okay, lovely. So we'll try calling again, and hopefully this takes less than 5 rings. This has not been an issue before, but usually there's not this much availability. Hello, how's it going?
Hi there. Thanks for calling Amplify Family Law.
The echo. Yeah, the echo is killer. Yeah, I'm listening.
For hanging in there. Just so you know, I'm an AI assistant for Amplify Family Law, and I'm here to help get you to the right. How can I help you today?
Yes, I never published this agent. Okay, cool. Let me take care of that. Okay, publish agent v1. Lovely. Okay, I think now we're ready. Over agent. Lovely. Okay, cool. Let's do it then. Ping. Oh, hello.
Hi, thank you for calling Amplify Family Law. This call is being recorded. How can I help you today?
Hey, yeah, I need some help from a lawyer.
First, I'm here to help. There you go. Hey. Family Law. Is this your first time reaching out to us, or are you already in?
No, it's the first time.
Can you tell me a little about what you need help with? for example.
Yeah, this unfortunately is a divorce issue, and I hope that it will be treated very sensitively.
Completely. I understand this is a sensitive situation. I will handle everything with care and confidentiality. Just to make sure we're the right fit. This isn't related to a car accident or personal injury, right?
Correct.
Thank you for consenting. How urgent is the situation? Do you need to speak with me?
No, I don't usually get divorced on routine. It's pretty urgent.
Great 8-year-old. What county or state is your divorce matter in?
In Queens.
Thanks for letting me. Are there any children involved in the court?
No.
Got it.
No children involved. Let's get you scheduled for a consultation. Can you please spell your first name for me?
Yeah, my first name is Alejo, and my last name is Pijuan.
Thank you, Alejo. And can you spell out your email address or me, letter by letter?
It's ALEJOPIJUAN@gmail.com.
Thank you. Now let's look at available times for your round.
I have Friday, January 18th, 7 a.m., 8 a.m., 10 a.m., or 11 a.m. East. Do any of those work for you?
No, not really.
No problem. Let me give you a few more options. Monday, January 19th, between 7 a.m. and 9 a.m., or Tuesday, January 20th, between 7 a.m. and 11 a.m. East. Do any of those times fit your schedule?
Yeah, the 20th at 10 a.m.
You're all set for Tuesday, January 20th at 10 a.m. Eastern. We will handle your matter with care and confidentiality. Your consultation is booked for Tuesday, January 20th.
Lovely.
Is there anything else? Okay.
I believe that's it. Yeah, thank you so much. Cool. Smooth, with selective booking for the right type of matter, and pre-call availability. I hope you see how having to check availability halfway through the call is that much more annoying. But keep in mind, this is not that simple when you're using multiple different calendars. This is looking at the general availability of that main event type ID, the team event type ID. This is where free versus paid routing form, where the complexity really goes up. So I'd love to learn about your use case, be it on the YouTube comments below, or if you come to build hours in the school community, we can have a deeper chat about your nuances, because this multi-calendar booking is about understanding the nuances. What works for one business does not work for the next, but that is why this is such a high value skill right now. And I hope that I can help you continue to grow your skills. Now let's recap everything that we just did. First, we created some Call.com accounts and a team so everybody's availability can overlap in the right way. Second, we created an agent in retail that can book appointments and then can even book appointments depending on who the lawyer is. Keep in mind, we only ever used one function. With list level of complexity, having 9 different functions, it gets really bloated really fast. So if you try to build it, you'll know that building it with one function actually seems impossible at the beginning, but we made it possible. Because of component number 3, we can create the logic, not give it to an LLM to figure out, but a more deterministic system in N8N to handle the routing of this lawyer versus that lawyer. And what really helps keep the effectiveness as high as possible, but without too much complexity, meaning why we're able to only have one function, is because the full availability gets inserted into the prompt before the call starts, and that's this workflow down here. Now, both of these, you'll be able to go download in the school community. There is a free trial. It's not about taking your money. It's really about making sure that you have everything you need to succeed. So if what you feel like you need is this template, go get it. I don't want to put a number barrier behind that. But if you want to grow your skills, I do encourage you to join the community as a permanent member. I'd love to meet you in our 4 live sessions that we have every week, and I hope that we can get to know each other. My name is Alejo, I'm here to help, and remember to never stop prompting.